Hello there internet, my name is Animal, and today I'm going to be playing through Half-Life 2 for the first time. We play as Gordon Freeman, former Black Mesa scientist around 20 years after we defeated a giant three-armed baby with a big head and jumped into some random guy's portal. This random guy seemed to be lacking some vitamin D, and seriously champ, just go outside, it's not that hard. Anyways, let's get right into the video. We load in, and the first thing we see is that vitamin D looking bloke lecturing us about how we deserve a rest. Thanks a lot, mate, it actually means a lot. Saving the world 20 years ago was extremely exhausting and challenging, and I think it's time Mr. Freeman took a vacay. In fact, you should come with me, the sun would do wonders for your skin. I think this is supposed to be a PTSD flashback scene, but to be honest, I reckon Gordy here just took one too many acid tabs this morning. And for the record, I don't endorse any use of drugs. As we all know, drugs are bad and will kill you and turn you into a tree. I have noticed that it does start similarly to the original game, as we start in a tram car and there are people you can talk to. Well, not really. I kinda just walked up to them and stared deep into their emotional souls and they talk to me. This is just like real life. Eventually the tram stops and we get out. However, as soon as I take one step out of the car, I'm immediately flashed by a giant floating rat. I'm guessing he just took a picture of me or something, and why shouldn't he? I did save the whole world after all. Anyways, I follow my co-workers down the station and run into what seems to be a stormtrooper beating the pesky little rebel. What a fun Easter egg. I also soon learn that these are not in fact stormtroopers, but known as Combine. What a shame. I make my way through a gate and find a lovely lass here. She starts telling me about losing her husband or something. I'm not actually too sure, as I got up and left the game on to get some milk. I continue down the corridor, but then find a gallon of milk and I feel bad for leaving her, so I decide to go back and give it to her as a present, but she refuses to take it. What a humble soul. I make my way to the security checkpoint where they first frisk me, take some more selfies of me, and finally send me down a dimly lit corridor where I assumed would be my eventual death, but nah cunt, that'd be the shittest game of all time. Like ever. The Combine jerks off a door handle and takes me inside some sort of medical lab. The first thing I noticed was the blood-stained floor, and holy shit, maybe I actually will die. One of the guards stays behind to what I can only assume is watch me die, but as it turns out, he's my best mate. A scientist appears on the screen by the name of Dr. Kleiner, and I'm told I have to make my way to his lab. Leaving the room, and I find my way up a ladder and yeet myself out a window, almost breaking both my ankles. What the fuck? I thought Portal and Half-Life were supposed to be in the same universe. Why aren't there any of those impact boots lying around? I decide to pick up a barrel and I hurl it at the tree in frustration at this small, minute detail. I keep working my way through doors and staircases until I'm eventually cut off by a Combine guarding an entrance to what I can only assume is the exit. I try my best to squeeze past him, but he then beats me in the head with a taser bat. Okay, you wanna play that way, mate? I got you. I make my way back down the staircase to where that pesky barrel was and pick up a cinder block and proceed to try and bash his skull in with it. It most likely won't work, but hey, at least I've got good spirit. I then realized he's backed away from the entrance and proceed to sprint inside before he attacks me again. And suddenly I think I'm playing Hitman and decide to hide behind a phone booth and wait for him to come, but soon realize that this is not the case as I emerge and he stares deeply into my long lost soul. I move a few boxes around for no particular reason, and in doing so I accidentally found the exit. Now I'm outside in the courtyard. I have a little wander around and try to find Dr. Kleiner. Making my way around the courtyard, I find what seems to be a tripod from War of the World. Anyway, I take a look around the dumpster area and find a ladder where I'm able to climb up, which would allow me to jump over the fence. On the other side, I find a bunch of drones floating around a building, and of course my first thought is that a crack house, mate? But before I let my addictions run wild, I decide to wander around the neighborhood, but come up with nothing other than some sort of entrance to the house. Bursting inside, I search the various floors for crack and steal the TVs in the process. I then accidentally hit a security guard with a lamp and he starts beating me with a taser again. The Combine really seem to like their tasers. They remind me of Americans and their guns. A young gentleman pulls me aside and tells me to run to the roof. Why the fuck would I do that? It's not like there's gonna be an army of Combine about to run at me, trying to beat me to death with tasers. So anyway, I turn around and there's an army of Combine running at me, trying to beat me to death with tasers. I end up running into the attic and jump onto the roof of another building, and suddenly I've become Ezio. I start getting shot by drones and jump through a window to a seemingly empty room. What a stroke of luck, hey? I see a set of stairs descending, but they look like they'll break the moment I set foot on them, so I decide to do the only logical thing, and once again yeet myself down the stairs. I thought I would be able to leave through a door here, but as it turns out, a mob of Combine catches up to me and backs me into the corner and starts beating me to death with tasers. Suddenly I see a light and I think it's heaven before me, but I'm not actually too sure. As it turns out, I was actually flashed, and this lovely chap had killed the Combine for me and tells me to follow her. We end up in the basement where I assume the professor is supposed to be hiding out. She asks if I want a drink of water. Well, yes actually. You see, I did just parkour my way here after running away from a mob of Combine trying to beat me to death with tasers. But as it turns out, it's actually a tunnel that leads to the doctor's lab. What a blow of disappointment. I take a look around whilst Dr. Kleiner explains his sciencey shenanigans to me, and out of nowhere my best mate shows up. I run towards him to embrace him in a no-homo hug, but he ignores me. What a nice ass turd. Seriously, it's not like I nearly died coming here or anything, but the next thing he does will shock you. He opens a door to reveal my new HEV suit, but out of nowhere a head crab bounces on him. As it turns out, the alien is a pet or something? I'm not really too sure, but it sounds like some How to Train Your Dragon shit went down. I put on the HEV suit and just wow, having the Valve music play during this moment genuinely sent chills down my body. He directs me over to the charging station where I charge up, and now we're ready to head into the next phase of our Half-Life 2 journey. Thank you so much, you champions, for watching this video, and I hope you really enjoyed it. If you want to see more content like this, consider hitting like and subscribe, as that really helps me grow my tiny little channel. Thank you so much again, and see you next week.